I'm Benjamin Temple, and this is another video on model railroading. I have three Athearn train locomotives, the Dash 9-44CW. Two of them are in the Chicago Northwestern paint scheme, and the other one's in the Union Pacific. You'd say, if you see my other videos, and that I model the Union Pacific, Illinois Central, and the Southern Pacific mainly. Why would I get Chicago Northwestern? Well, through Effingham, sometimes a Union Pacific locomotive would come in on the Canadian National tracks or the Illinois Central before that, and sometimes along with the Union Pacific locomotive would be a Chicago Northwestern. And obviously, I mean, for those of you that are railroad fanatics, geeks, whatever you call yourselves, you know that the Chicago Northwestern merged with the Union Pacific, so that's kind of the idea here. Even though I really don't get into the mergers, all my particular, if I can, is before the merging time, because I like the Chicago Northwestern, even though I don't model it. I mean, I have to pick a certain railroads that I'm going to model, because I can't afford it all. So Union Pacific's on top, and unfortunately the Chicago Northwestern's out, even though I do have some of their cars, passenger cars and railroad cars, because you know, they rail yards and anything and everything. So here we go, look at the like I say, the Dash 9-44CW locomotive by Athearn. This is something I got from Spring Creek Model Trains about a month ago roughly. I just haven't had time to run them, so now I'm getting around to test running them. Now, I already have this one set on the track. It's obviously running, so we're just kind of test running to see that everything works on it as it's supposed to. Okay, so I put it in forward to check to see that the front headlight works, and it does. And I flip the switch, the F function, F0, to see if it went out. So here's the F2, here's the F1, the bell. F3 in this particular case is supposed to be a short bell, or I mean short horn, excuse me. And then F4 is the dynamic brake. Yeah, sounds like it is working. F5 is supposed to be lighting effect, so that appears to be the ditch lights, which do come on. Let's see here. F6 is another lighting effect. Oh, those are the marker lights. Right. So we get a look at that. I'm not running it real fast here. It's on. I have a Digitrax DCS51, and you know, you have the turn dial. Goes from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then full. I have it set just above 2. So F7 is dim chatter, or dim cab chatter. So let's see what we get here. Oh yeah, that's right. And then F8 is mute, which guess I could do. Okay, so that does work. F9 is alternate mix, half volume. F10 is straight to 8 and sander valves. So we'll see here. So I got it a little faster in throttle. Sorry, I'm trying to read the book. Even though I've had it on the track, I have not run
This is actually the first time I run it, unlike some of the other videos where I've already kind of previously test run. Even then, sometimes I don't always have all the functions down because there are quite a few, and while some things stay the same, other things do change. So F13 is well, F11 is brake set release. F12 is a brake select. So we'll see here just how that might work. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, like I say, it's a bit difficult time trying to operate the controller and the camera. So there's the F13 uncoupling. Then it says F14 is half speed and momentum override. So I don't know if we can turn that off because I don't really care for that particularly, but I guess if you were running a train, that'd be a good thing to have. F15 is the handbrake, which does kind of sound like that. So F24, we're going to skip ahead, is auxiliary lighting effect if equipped. I'm guessing this is probably not. Some probably on a passenger train more than likely. That's me taking a guess. I don't know. I mean, I do know lots about trains and locomotives and rail cars. I've been a member of AREMA for from the end of 2013 to 2020, I think, when I let my membership expire. And I did serve on the committee 27, subcommittee A-B in 2016, and that got switched, I think, in 2019 to subcommittee A. You'd say, well, what do those committees deal with? My particular committee dealt with looking at fuel transfer onto maintenance way equipment, trucks or things that bring out fuel, and the contamination or quality of fuel and depth and how to improve that sort of stuff. That was a thing that we talked about. Can't talk about some of the stuff because it's proprietary information, so can't really give out that. And that's just some of the things I learned. There's a whole lot of things that you get from joining the American Railway Engineering Maintenance Way Association, which is what AREMA stands for. But even some of that I've forgotten over time because there's so much information to absorb. I mean, I did take notes on it, but unfortunately I've done some moving from my college apartment back to my parents' house temporarily until I get my student loans paid down or paid off, as you'd say. So there is that. And so, sorry, I wanted to see if it had ditch lights on the rear, but it does not. Now you'd say, well, if you knew trains as good as you say you know, you'd know that it didn't have that, but I realized some things changed over the years. I don't know all the years that these different changes happened, so okay, so sorry, I was hitting F26, which is the engine rev notch down, and or 27 actually. So then I moved it to F26 to notch it back up so that you could hear the engine. just kind of going through all these functions and seeing what is so we're going to run this thing at full throttle here for a bit just to see whether it's I think it's going to run itself off the track. No, it ain't, fortunately. Alright, so this is road number 8701. It appears everything works on it, so I'm going to take it off the track and try out a new locomotive and see how that works. Alright, so this is locomotive 8646 on the track, and power has already been applied. It immediately started revving, and the engineer or fireman's talking that you hear in the deal, or train crew, however you want to put it. We're going to back it up and try something I should have probably done on the other deal when I was doing it, but to be honest, I didn't even think about it. So, nope, some ditch lights that you might have not seen do not go off and on. So, I don't know, I remember at least, I know I can review the Dash 9 unit. Is kind of my favorite because I like that design. You'd say, well, how come I don't know more about it? Actually, it was up on all the horsepower, 44,000. Seems like to me an engine that's 73 feet and 2 inches or 73 feet and 4 inches Don't quote me on that. That seems to be what I remember. I remember in real life they started showing up on the rail, at least in Effingham, Illinois, around 1995. Seems like to me. They might have been there before that, but I wouldn't have known because, well, I was 15, 16, and then I got my first Dash 9 unit when I was 16 or 17, along in there. It might have been 1995 that I got that Union Pacific. I got the DC and the UP version, and then the got a Southern Pacific. I think that was an AC version, and then a Chicago Northwestern version later that was also AC. So this is not exactly what I had as a kid. That's kind of why I got them back, is because I had them as a teenager, mid to late 20s. I got the Chicago Northwestern from my hobby dealer. Actually, it rode on a motorcycle on the way home. That's all I had back then. So it wouldn't have probably been when I was 15, but 16. Things have definitely changed some since then. But I haven't had time to refresh my memory and keep up on all this stuff. I mean, my favorite locomotives that people who do know me know that I'm a big boy fan. That is my favorite steam locomotive. My favorite diesel is the DD-A40X or the DD-40AX, however you want to call it, Centennial, or the Big Jacks, or Big Jakes, I think is what some of the Union Pacific people referred to them. So my favorite engine of probably all time is the Superpower Big Blow, or the GTEL 8500s, just because of the horsepower and size. But those are my three favorite engines. You'd say, well, why is that? Well, when I was 7 years old, at my local library, which is Dietrich, Illinois, that library would have a book that had all three of these engines in it. First, it started out with the Big Boy, then I think along in that book is the Superpower Big Blow turbines, and then the Centennials that were told that were taking over for the Big Boys. In that book was a drawing, which turns out was an actual photo, but it's a drawing in that, and the road number for that Big Boy is 4019, which I have, and I'm getting an upgrade version to match the rest of my Big Boys with a smoking whistle. I do not have the 6922 Centennial unit that's in that book, unfortunately. I don't think Athearn has come out with that road number. Correct me if I'm wrong. The Superpower Big Blow, or the GTELs 8500s, the one that's in the drawing in that book, of course it is a kid's book, I believe it was road number 30. I do own that. I own 4 of them now, with a 5th one on order. Whether I'll take possession of it or not, we'll see how things go. I'd really like to concentrate a little less on my hobby and more importantly on my career, and